Hello. Okay. Am I on? Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, first let's start with a prayer. Today is Dakini Day. Feminine enlightened energy is very powerful today. And so let's pray to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Daka, Dakinis, and receive their blessings. Om no zenam darajinu rupe, taji shushu jina shobahi, sangi chodangi nupa. Kuna chaseta cha taji shu de meje president rugu, chebe jimbaga rapadamba, kuno gumbo shuju. Lumbo drabazara bedane, simjetam jarabung rupe, izim zeba sirap trabalde, zanzam de bedeshi. Devarchik bagela chasalo, jambejano padendoji. Cherizim gumbo jimbepe, say ni bodu banambrase, namgeni bobajo. Ubiduji begalujina, nuboda wadite nyumayi, chasale namdujibe. Chanjuzim bagela chasalo, rinjenda jotaji sirginya, dujo mazayong kamada, nyeradunda. Minu gezin wujir kolode, rinjenda jojiga chadaje, chuduji wachujinga jama, gisungu utime. Trashi lamo gela chasalo, samba chimbodi jung semebu, migdode dangibu. Pagi bodang luwa mimizan, namte sizela zekolo dang, tishola dang, biwanda de chude ngudinse, sasumna sukali. Jide kiwa gela chasalo, dajadik dar chawazumbala, gidan yawarsawa kuj. Dudembepe samdu ishin rup, trashi dele pusum sobarsho, dajadik dar chawaz. Gidan yawarsawa kunjini, dudembepe samdu ishin rup, trashi dele pusum. Dajadik dar chawazumbala, gidan yawarsawa kunjini, dudembepe samdu ishin. Trashi dele pusum sobarsho. Baden sevela marimboche, dagachi wore pemede shula, kadinchi beguni. Kusung tuki ngudup zalduse. It is said that Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. And when we try to look at what that really means, Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, good at the end. That on the path of Dharma, a person, let's say, who is journeying on the path of Dharma, or traversing on the path of Dharma, why a person, first of all, we can ask the question that why a person traverse on the path of Dharma, for what purpose? And the purpose is only one purpose, and that is to achieve liberation. And in order to achieve liberation, one is to remove the main obstacle, which is ignorant, confusion. Without removing confusion and ignorance, the possibility of freedom is almost impossible. When you lack the wisdom and when you lack the knowledge, you need tremendous knowledge. The three kinds of knowledge: the knowledge of hearing, the knowledge of introspection, and knowledge gained through meditation. And tonight we'll be doing meditation, so I'd like to explain gradually on the importance of meditation. But before we go to meditation, like always on Thursday, when I'm teaching, I like to give a little bit Dharma talk on the purpose of the importance of Dharma. So I thought, since whether we gain the knowledge through hearing, or gain the knowledge through introspection, or gain the knowledge through meditation, it's one purpose. They all have one purpose, and that's to remove ignorant, the confused intelligence, and then to achieve the right kind of intelligence, prajna, the wisdom, which can lead us to liberation and the enlightened view, or extraordinary insight, the Sanskrit word called vipassana or prajna. The result of vipassana meditation, one achieves prajna, and that's what means wisdom. And wisdom can only be achieved once we remove the ignorance, the wheel of our mind, which is ignorance, once that's removed. Now, I'd like to, today, I thought to talk about a little bit about the general picture of the Dharma. So first of all, for example, in the Vajrayana tradition of the Ngondro practice, in the Vajrayana practice of Ngondro practice, those who have read the words of my perfect teacher, or the commentary on the Ngondro practice by Sonis Dujum Rinpoche in the Tersar Nyingma tradition, or words of my perfect teacher is generally in the general Nyingma tradition, and particularly the Nyingtik tradition. And so does many, whether one is doing the northern Terma practice, Changter, or whether one is doing the Namche tradition or Payul tradition, or various other different Terma tradition of Nyingma lineage, they all follow in the same pattern of how the Dharma is introduced. Same thing in the Kagyu tradition, the Ngondro practice, which is in the Kagyu tradition, and the same thing would be in the Sakya, and the same thing in the Gelug tradition, Lamrim, the gradual path. So, first of all, when we enter the path of Dharma in the Vajrayana tradition, or you can see in general, doesn't really matter. The mind is to enter anyhow from the first level, and then it goes to the next level, and then it goes to the next level, and next level, and next level. The first level that we try to understand is the appreciation of our present condition, our situation. So, which is called the four outer ngondros. The four outer ngondro is rejoicing the situation and qualities that we have at the present moment, which is, first of all, number one, is to recognize and rejoice precious human rebirth. How rare it is to achieve this, so that we don't squander this precious human rebirth. That we need to, first of all, in order to gain freedom, we need a vehicle. And the vehicle, the most perfect vehicle, is human rebirth. And within human rebirth, what is called the precious, those who are trying to remove the ignorant, which is the main obstacle for our freedom and enlightenment, is the ignorance. So those who are striving that, they need a vehicle, first of all. Like if you're trying to cross an ocean, you need a ship. You try to cross a lake or river, you need a boat. So without a vehicle, you wouldn't be able to cross. Same thing, in order to enter the path of Dharma, first you need a vehicle, and among all the vehicle, the supreme vehicle, which is endowed with intelligence and the faculty, sharp faculty, to introspect, to investigate, to come to realization of wisdom, is the human rebirth. And to gain the human rebirth, it just didn't happen out of incidents, but due to tremendous merit from many lifetimes. Nothing happens without a cause. We can all understand that. Our entire experience of our life, even within an hour or within a day, within a week, within a month, in years, and all the way, a whole life experience is based on cause and effect, based on positive deeds or negative deeds. Positive deeds, once you plant it, there's a positive result, what is known as happiness and joy. State of mind, which there is sense of confidence, joy, calmness, abiding, or negative deeds, which give the result of uncertainty, fear, lack of confidence, and all the experience which invites pain and suffering and fear, which result in big suffering. That's due to negative karma. And of course, to gain a precious human rebirth would be impossible, because if the negative karma is so big, then the possibility to gain a precious human rebirth or even a mere human rebirth is out of question. One most probably could be born that consciousness would take a birth or reincarnation of that negative quality. You can't expect to be born as something, a precious human rebirth, but rather something like some kind of creature or bug or some very negative, destructive force. We can sometimes say that our pets, like dogs and cats, are not as destructive on a mega scale, like sometimes what human, on a very wrong aspiration to be born with certain kind of merit as a human being, but having the wrong kind of aspiration, that whole energy, positive energy, that you gain a human rebirth, but the intelligence that you got is able to discover or invent some mass destruction, some technology or some kind of weapon or some kind of poison or something destructive, or pandemic, sickness, that one could deliberately create and spread in the world, in the environment, that can kill and maim and bring so much chaos and suffering. And that in that way, that person, by creating such a negative deed, could expect clearly no positive result in the later future life, but rather something in very lower realms, because that mindset is a low, very destructive, egoistic, destructive mind. Therefore, it's called lower. Not that tall. It's not based on tall body or short body, but based on that destructive mindset. And then the future life can be thrown into the dungeon of samsara for endless eon in a very dark place. Sometimes I wonder, those certain kind of species of fish or creatures who live under the ocean, on the beds of ocean, where there's no sunlight, and they remain in this all kinds of karmas, and they remain for like so long life. And then even if they're dead from that body, but again reborn in that place, maybe for eons and eons. So the suffering of samsara is infinite. Hard to even think about that kind of pain and suffering that one has to go through. So therefore, when we have this precious human rebirth, as Shantideva says, that when we have this precious human rebirth, we should not waste. Do not sleep, O ignorant one, because you're not going to get this back again and again, that you're able to achieve so much good karma, the merit that now you have your faculties, your senses, your mind clear to study and hear, reflect and meditate and then achieve freedom. It's not going to come again and again to you. It's like once in a, as we say, once in a million lifetimes. So first of all, therefore, the four outer ngundus is like the layout of the plan, layout of the plan in the first stage. So then in the first stage, there's the layout of precious human rebirth to recognize and to take advantage of that. And then the second, in the ngundu practice, out of the four outer ngundus, it says, even you have a precious human rebirth, but it's impermanence. Everything is impermanence. Nothing remains same, even for a moment, actually. If you look at the minor, subtle impermanence, it's changing every moment to moment. So nothing remains same. And that's the fact of phenomena, fact of the nature of phenomena, or characteristic of the phenomena. So therefore, we have a lot of confusion when we look at from the perspective. What is impermanence? We think things are permanent. So that's one perverted view. Lokta, lopartawa, or Tibetan word is lopartawa, means seeing it in the wrong way. The reality is impermanence, but we think things are permanent. Oh yes, I know others are dying, but I'm still going to live. Even we're going to die the next moment, but still we think, oh, I'm going to live almost like for eons, and my name should be stamped, and it'll be eternal legacy, who I am. In fact, nobody's going to remember you. And even if they remember you, who knows whether they remember you in the right way or wrong way. But that's only we've seen some history, emperors and kings and like that. But in the rest of the population, nobody remembers. Even those who remember, it's just mere, people's idea. But as far as that person is concerned, is gone somewhere and taken rebirth, maybe in the ocean, in some mammals or some birds or some bugs or whatever, So how we get trapped in the wrong notion that things are impermanent, but we think they are permanent. We see a wrong notion right there. So there are many views where there is no ego, we believe in ego. Where there is no inherent self, we believe in a inherent self. So many wrong views like that. And all those, so this is what I mean, the Dharma showing us that the mind which can really look into that we can remove this confusion and ignorance and come to clear terms that truly this is a body that I have, but it's not going to last forever. It's for the time being. In fact, it's relative. It's never an absolute body, it's a relative body. Conventional body or relative body. Relative means it's devoid of inherent existence. So therefore, it's just amazing how I have this body, first of all. In the Padmasambhava prayer, the wondrous, it says, the third line is, you achieve the wondrous achievement. Same thing, it's wondrous that we have this body, actually. This really, right now, even there is today in the world, there's pandemic and things going, but still relatively, those who are being careful, the majority of the population of the world is still there. It's a wondrous how you have this body, how you have these eyes to see, to read, to study. The hand that you can, put food in your mouth. The feet that you can actually walk and get to places. And the mouth to taste food. It's amazing, wondrous quality that you've achieved. That you can enjoy from chocolate cake to like coconut cake or juices and coffee and tea and whatever. It's just to do that, take it from your hand and put it in your mouth and taste it itself is a wondrous thing. So of course, it's a wondrous thing that we can actually, through this vehicle, we can cross the ocean of confusion, which is the ocean of suffering. Because suffering comes from confusion. There's no other place suffering comes from. So we can actually do that. So that's like a amazing karma, due to merit. It comes from due to merit. And of course, yes, we have, since merit, within merit, there's relative merit and absolute merit. And all relative merit is illusory. So our body is also illusory, because the cause of the body itself is illusory. It's called seemingly phenomena, devoid of inherent existence, very clearly. It's a dependent body, dependent origination body. All our experience are dependent origination, is relative truth or relative phenomena. So therefore, when we see amazing condition right now, a relative phenomena of a human precious body, able to read, able to hear, able to have the discrimination awareness, what's right, what's wrong, what's confusion, what is not, what is eternalism, what is nihilism, what is middle path. It's just like so much that we can understand and we can go deeper. And the reason why we need to go deeper, there is one thing that we all seek, is liberation, freedom, happiness. Now, where is that happiness contained? Where is that happiness contained? Of course, confusion comes, is also an experience of the mind, and then the removal of the ignorance, removal of confusion is also experience of the mind, enlightenment. But that mind, it needs a vehicle, very important. Something which, like when we travel, we need a car to take us. Same thing, the mind needs a vehicle to achieve high level of transcendent wisdom quality. Without a body, it'll be very hard. And therefore this body is so hard to achieve. So when you look at it from that point of view, at the beginning of meditation, I'm not giving Undri teaching tonight, I'm just explaining, the how to see impermanence instead of permanent, how to see the precious human rebirth, and even we have that, but it's still impermanence condition. And then cause and effect. Those are all like first layout of the Dharma about our present situation and our present condition. Once we understand that, yes, this didn't happen without a cause, or just by incident, or by the agent of, third party, or by some creator, but rather is due to interdependent cause and effect that we have. Once we clearly understand that even we have this due to the cause and effect, it's still impermanence, and it's subject to cause and effect, and then still if we don't do something deeper, we cannot go beyond suffering, samsaric suffering, no matter wherever we are born or whatever kind of body, tall, short, strong, handsome, beautiful, or whatever, still is subjected to suffering and uncertainty. So that's the first outer ngundu. Then, of course, the rest, inner ngundu, start from the refuge and bodhicitta and rest. But anyway, so we are talking about one thing, and we are talking about freedom and happiness that we all want. Now, again, today when we're doing shamatha meditation, calm abiding mind, we are going very deep into the mind. We are trying to understand what is really the mind. So when we look at the mind, of course, we also have to look at the body, because our body and mind are interdependent. As long as you live, you have your body. The day you die, then you don't have the body, you leave the body. Right now, you have a vehicle, the body. And how do we understand the body and mind? That's part of the meditation practice. For example, in meditation practice, the four mindfulness. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the sensation, mindfulness of the phenomena, mindfulness of the mind. And these can be divided, since our practice right now is calm abiding shamatha meditation. There are four mindfulness based on shamatha mind, and four mindful based on vipassana mind. Vipassana mind is extraordinary insight, so that's not, we are particularly, tonight we are not particularly talking about, but we are talking about the first of all calm abiding mind. So when we talk about calm abiding mind, then trying to understand this mind ordinarily, our notion of the mind right now is very confusing, because we are confused in our own thoughts. We are confused to our projection, mind projection. So, as in the meditation practice, as it is put clearly, like, the confused relationship with your mind, like with your projection and yourself. If the nitsul tang nangsul tumpa in Tibetan word, and nitsul tang nangsul mitumpa, the mind which can relate to the nature of phenomena, the mind, the observer mind, which can relate to its mind projection, where there is a harmony, is enlightened mind. Where the mind and its projection have a conflicting, dualistic experience, is called samsara, in a simple word. But however, right now we are trying to understand the mind at the beginning. So when we try to understand the mind, we try to meditate. The first stage is, the mindfulness of the body. And the very word mindfulness, when we first talk about mindfulness refers to the past, present, future, the three times. Mindfulness refers to present time. Mindfulness doesn't refer to past time, or mindfulness doesn't refer to future times. When we say you need to have mindfulness, means here and now, your present mind, mindfulness has to be present. Because without the present mindfulness, your mind will be distracted and your mind will be lost. So when you learn to meditate, for example, in the mindfulness of the body, you just start with your body. You don't have to think about some, deity or anything. Just simply your present body. And then you feel the sensation of your body. Whatever the sensation, you can focus to, like, any part of your body, or you can have focus to your whole body. The whole point is to bring your awareness to the moment, to the present moment, because our mind is always jumping, like never staying put. Either it's in the past or it's in the future, or it's running after some wavering thoughts. How do we bring the mind to the present thought? Is first we can do with this solid experience of the body, where you can just sit and then you can focus to, like Xinjiang, Lu Xinjiang, Sim Xinjiang, Tibetan word. Through mind, you can have experience of joy in your mind, joy in your body, and joy in your mind. So how do you do that? For example, you can start with, like, focus to your head, and then your mind is, not running here and there, being present on your head, for example. Focus to your head, and then there are various different methods here. The method will finally, once you get the real experience of the mindfulness of the body, it will lead you to, like, total relaxation. The body nature, this precious human body, the tremendous conditions that it is equipped with, so to speak, it relates you to joy. And for example, starting with the mindfulness of the body, like Lu Xinjiang, joy that you can experience. Two, then finally you can, those who are doing advanced practice such as Yantra Yoga, the small vase, the large vase, and the tremendous possibility that the inner heat, warmth, gain tremendous joy and bliss. And of course, if you just get attached to that, again, you're trapped there. Seeing the potential of our, inner qualities, outer qualities, that's what, removing the obstacles of pain and suffering, and seeing how that is connected to our present mind. And the present mind holds, without judgment. Because if the present mind holds with judgment, then there would be accepting and there will be rejection. Those two minds are samsaric mind. When we talk about present mind, it goes beyond accepting and beyond rejection. That's what present mind is. Because accepting and rejection, accept, those you like, and reject those you don't like, is our ordinary samsaric mind pattern anyway. That's what we do every day. And that mind didn't help us to achieve freedom. That mind is in the midst of our neurosis, is in the midst of afflictive emotion, that, this is good, this is to be accepted, this is bad, to be rejected. And then finally, when you go one step deeper, acceptance and rejections are hope and fear, if you go a little bit inner. The hope and fear ground is based on ignorance, the fear of survival. Ignorance is a fear. It's based on, without fear, ignorance' main tool is the fear. Like sense of the grasper. So anyway, let's not go that deep right now. Let's look at how to experience the present awareness. Very important. Present mindfulness should have present state of being. Once you lose the measurement of the present state present state is neither rejecting nor accepting, whether it's your thought, whether it's your pain, experience sensation of your pain or sensation of the joy, whatever. When you let that go, then you experience your mind is here and you begin to feel all sensation, but without the samsaric mindset entering, which is accepting rejection. And then you experience the openness, your awareness, shishin, awareness. You experience things. It's not that you can shut the whole world down to think nothing. It's impossible. If there is a mind, you will always have a thought. But it's thought without absence, thought with the absence of rejection and acceptance. It's just clearly seeing being in the present state. Only through that kind of mind or present state is a virtuous mind, because it never leads to neurotic state. The one which leads to affliction and neurosis is the mind of acceptance and rejection, constant, always the dualistic pattern. That's the biggest obstacle to our freedom and joy and enlightened mind. So this is what, we try to learn, for example, as I said, in the mindfulness of the body. Then, even you feel a sensation, hot or cold, joy or irritation, whatever. But the mind is simply watching. The mind, being in the present state, is able to observe, but not being trapped by those experiences. Usually we are trapped with almost any thoughts on any experience. So that's something, at the beginning one is to practice, learn about the four mindfulness. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the sensation. And then mindfulness, the mind, finally seeing the nature of the mind, or in this case, the calm abiding state. Right now, our mind is like, without any stability. Our mind is not in stillness. We need to practice meditation for the mind to achieve stillness state. I mean, for example, when we just now sit like this, a thought will come. And there's nothing wrong in the thought coming. But the problem is when the thought you get one thought connects to the next like a bead, and then it's like total cycle of that. And the past thoughts, future thoughts, basically, always between the past and the future, never in the present. So you're never like in your home. Your home is the present. But when you're not in the present, you're never at home. Like you have no place to rest. Your mind is restless because it never found the home. It never have a place to rest. So when you sit, it is said in the meditation practice, the body is on the zafu. In the mind, body on the zafu. Then in the body is the mind. And mind relax, not running after rejection and acceptance. Just be open, and whatever thoughts come, you try not to neither suppress them nor running after them. Just being aware. It's okay to have thoughts, but not, simply observing. You don't have to shut it down. If you try to shut your mind down, then the mind can become stupid. And in fact, one would go crazy. You try to shut the mind down. And if you just go after the wavering thoughts, then it's just like ordinary mind. Everyone has a wavering thought, even dogs and cats and birds, and everyone has that. There's nothing, enlightening about that. What you have to develop is the present state of calm, abiding state. And in that way, then, watching, naturally the observant mind has a natural quality of seeing. There's nothing wrong in seeing. There's nothing wrong in seeing the objects, or nothing wrong in having a thought. But simply not, getting distracted from the state is important. Just being simply observing. In that way, then all neuroses get transcended. And then you are able to experience the gradually, the deeper and deeper, the wisdom state. So for that, first one is to begin with the calm abiding meditation. So mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of sensation, the mindfulness of mind, and then mindfulness of phenomena which goes then deeper and deeper. So something like that. So meditation is extremely important. Without meditation, we cannot achieve any stability. Stillness and calm abiding will not come to our mind without meditation. There's no way. We have tried everything. We tried drugs, we tried alcohol, we tried, going to beaches or drinking this and drinking that and all kinds of things, but it never never brought a stability or calmness to the mind, which is like facing all the winds from all directions, like every thoughts, wherever the wind comes, the paper is blown away, like whatever thoughts come, we get after that. So for that, now you need to have the right method of calm abiding meditation, such as sitting in the right posture. And then first you can go through, either you can do meditation and mindfulness of the body, and then feeling the sensation, but then simply not, either accepting or no rejection, just seeing that, living as it is. In that way, you begin to learn to live at the moment where everything is happening, but at the same time doesn't have to create that neurosis, which is the cause of our suffering. So there's tremendous benefit in that method, how you come to learn being in the present. So meditation becomes very, very important. From the shamatha meditation, then going further deeper to like Vajrayana practice of, deity practice, Dakini practice, Yantra yoga, then Mahamudra practice, the Dzogchen teaching, all comes from the development of from the present mind. As I said, the present mind is called the virtuous mind. Without the present mind, there's no virtue, because their mind is then either into conflicting of duality, rejection and acceptance. That comes with the grasping, that comes with the ego, and then it's full of neurosis, and the result is suffering. So if we are to cease that suffering, then we need to cease the cause of that. And the whole thing lies, the secret lies in the present mind. And that's what in your meditation you are taught to sit and observe it, but not just like suppressing or not running after the thought, but trying to be simply with your breath and just seeing it. No big deal, just allowing it, just simply sit. That's where then once you gain more and more deeper, hold to that, to your meditation, it will have tremendous level of development as time goes by. And you will be able to conquer your mind. You will be able to, where you want to send your mind, you can send. Where you want your mind to stay, you can stay, so to speak. Something like that. Otherwise, the mind is just like always never there, never at home, never at present. Your mind is somewhere else all the time. Even you're eating, your mind is somewhere else. Even you're doing a Dharma practice, your mind is not focused. You are studying for a student, their mind needs to be focused to intelligence, because their mind is so much in wavering, their mind cannot concentrate. So samadhi means one-pointed concentration, comes from that mind. And that mind's present mind, the reason it's called virtues, has many different meanings. For example, when we look, once your mind is stable and clear, that means your mind's getting intelligence very clearly. Clarity, we use the three experiences coming out of meditation: bliss, clarity, and non-thought. So clarity means intelligence. Minds get so intelligence, able to discern everything, able to remove on a deeper level neurosis, afflictions, and then on the external level, such as, let's say, a college student or university student or school student, that they will be able to discern things, have clarity through that present state, and I think it's good for us children to start meditation too. Someone who can, let's say, 11 or 12 years old child, they will be able to have, more matured to able to do that. And in fact, Tibet, there were a number of stories, not simply story, but what happened in the monastery. Certain monastery, they taught meditation, and the children's, because of they don't have so strong affliction, some of them able to really get to the point, and they have developed tremendous foreknowledge. They can read the mind of other people also, like that, qualities. So meditation improves your intelligence. Meditation improves your clarity, means improve your intelligence. Then on top of that, meditation, because the intelligence is so clear, therefore it gains self-confidence. Here in this country, we talk about lack of confidence and self-confidence. Self-confidence comes from lack of absence of neurosis. Self-confidence cannot come with the bundle of neurosis. So meditation purifies the mind from neurosis. Therefore, then once the minds get clear, then the minds get very sharp, and so able to discern things very clearly. And so therefore, minds gain confidence without much being bothered about the traffic of afflictions are so less. Even they may be there, because to achieve the highest enlightenment would take time, but still the power of that shamatha, karma abiding, is so strong that if someone say, oh, you're ugly, the most ugliest person on the earth, you wouldn't be affected much. You will just move. You will able to just, if you can't laugh at it, it's not going to affect you at all. Versus someone who has no stability in the mind. If someone say you're the most ugliest person or the worst person, that you get so offended and hurt that you need to see your friends to reassure that you're not a bad person, or you need to go to a psychiatrist, take all, something like that. And that's not going to happen, because if your meditation is strong, that your mind can, the base of your mind, it's, quite good. The base of the mind is, this present mind, shamatha meditation, we're learning to be present. It's a very, very deep question when we talk about present mind. On an external level, like on our karma abiding shamatha meditation, it can make you strong and able to discern. Yet you still have your emotion, yet you still have your affliction, but the effect is less. And then on a deeper level, why that is called virtuous mind, that present state, because it leads to the ultimate true body of reality, which is non-dual Dhammakaya mind, or the nature of the three kayas, true enlightened awareness, which has transcended all afflictions. Then, since the nature of the mind itself is enlightened mind to all being, which is the three kaya state, Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, that can be, that is realized through the present mind, not through past mind or future mind. It is realized through the present mind. So why it is so important for us to start meditating now and gradually build up to the deepest level of awareness, mind, is there. Our answer to all our problems, all our confusion, it's right now in this present mind. And if we can just maintain the awareness, we will find the highest level of enlightenment in this human body, in this lifetime. And it's such that, there are two approaches to practice of Dharma. One through a great scholar approach, and one through is called the cowboy approach, or cowgirl approach, so to speak. Like basically cowgirl and cowboys, they don't have time to go to, in ancient times. Today may be a different situation in this country, but in ancient times, they are born as a nomadic family, and they don't have time to study. Schools are not available. They didn't have, enroll in college or university. So basically, they live in an illiterate fashion, so to speak, life. But then they meet a great master, and then who will simply introduce the present awareness, either directly to the Dzogchen teaching, if they have some tremendous merit, or starting with the shamatha, present state of meditation. Within days or months or years, based on each person's karma and their effort, diligence, they can have their highest realization. Achieving rainbow body, there has been cases like that, who have never even did all the other kinds of philosophical studies, but pointing to this present mind. The present mind is very powerful. The present mind, all the deepest level of enlightened writings came from the present mind, not from ideas of the past. So we discern two different things. We call philosophical studies. One is like mengak, means the pit instruction. Pit instruction. For example, in the Kagyu tradition, like Naropa, the great Indian Mahapandita Naropa, which is one of the founder of the Kagyu lineage. Kagyu lineage began from Tilopa, the tradition of Tilopa, and then from Tilopa it went to Naropa, and Marpa, and Milarepa, and Gampopa, and Rechungpa. So Naropa, this great master, Indian Mahapandita, he was, those days in ancient India, it was quite remarkable when you think about how the tradition involved about the fairness of how you discern and to respect, truly amazing respect. The respect comes from your intelligence. Respect do not come from war. Like in the history of Buddhism, there has been no conversion by war. In the history of Buddhism, when people understood the meaning of Dharma, that's how people, followed the Buddha Dharma, but not under the, fearful swords or by gun. So in ancient time, in the Nalanda University, there's a northern gate, which basically all the other school or the scholarly, they enter through the northern gate. So when the northern gate, there's a northern gatekeeper. And the northern gatekeeper, has to be extremely high scholar, because if the northern gatekeeper, if he loses, then, the other scholar, like in those days, it was Hinduism and Buddhism. There were no other religion in ancient India time. It was basically Hinduism and Buddhism. So if the Hindu scholar will debate the Buddhist Pandita, and if the Buddhist Pandita loses the debate, he has to convert to Hinduism. That was the, each one kind of have that sort of the deal, or respecting each other. It's basically respect. Or you have defeated me with your debate in philosophical, so now I respect you and I follow your tradition. Now, if the Hindu got defeated, then he become the Buddhist Pandita's disciple, I think, and then he practiced Buddhism. That was a tradition like that. So Naropa was the gatekeeper of the northern gate. And then he was a great scholar. And then he knows all the philosophy of eternalism or nihilism or middle path and medicine and debate and psychology. That's what's called as Pandita, Mahapandita. And then one day, the wisdom Dakini, I think some say it's Tara, I'm not sure which wisdom Dakini. She appeared to Naropa and said, Sigla Kekyang, Donla Shintu Mung, you are a great scholar in words, but in the essential meaning, you lack realization, she said. You're ignorant, in fact. Mung means ignorant. You're ignorant about the nature of reality, but you're very good at words. So in order for you to realize that, you have to go to your, to find your teacher who is Tilopa. And then if you go to him, you will get the tantric lineage, tantric teachings and pit instructions, which you lack, she said, pit instructions. And then Naropa, the great Nalanda University, I think in those days, they said that is one of the biggest university in the world. There were scholars from, Central Asia, from Tibet, to India, to Nepal, to Greeks. I think Greeks were also there. So it was an amazing place. And if you go today, it's near Bodh Gaya in the state of Bihar in India, you can see the vastness of that. How many acres of, classrooms and, classrooms and library, and sadly it was destroyed by the Mughals when the invasion came. They burned the library, the books. It took 6 months to burn all the books, they say. So anyway, that's part of the history. But anyway, so then Naropa went and then finally met Tilopa. And then through great painstaking, 12 great painstaking and 24 short, smaller painstaking, that he went underneath Tilopa. I think he spent like about 12 years, something like that. And then after 12 years, then he achieved realization that Tilopa transmitted him the whole thing. And that also happened from the present mind. The entire word, the reason present mind holds the entire pity instruction of our liberation, the key, the golden key to open the door to liberation is in the present mind. So don't underestimate your present mind. You see, we are so obscured, habituated by going in the past, going in the future, never present. Therefore, we never achieve our liberation. Liberation is right there in the present awareness. Once this gets deeper, then it finds the home, and then you become unshakable. Of course, as I said, thoughts will come, but you rule the thoughts, not the thoughts rule you. Right now you can see your thoughts rule you. You are a slave of your mind. So anyway, so there are many meanings that why we should do meditation and really build up our mind, through the practice of meditation. And now today, even scientists further said, how you can build your immune system, because you're able to, all your cells get like the energy, the immune booster, the well-being comes from when the mind is happy, then your body is naturally happy. But if your mind is disturbed, then everything else is disturbed and no balance comes to life. So therefore, the key to our balance, physical well-being, mental well-being, and then let's now talk about on a deeper level that this present mind can lead us all the way to liberation and enlightenment. There's so much. You're only seeing a surface of it right now. So as you will, as they say at the beginning, you are bound to get 3 experiences when you do meditation. One is joy in the body. That joy comes from rejuvenation. Think about, where would the joy in your body comes from? All your cells are rejuvenated. Your immune system build up, means rejuvenation. And then, mental clarity. Once mental clarity begins to come, that is the biggest threat to ignorance, actually. Biggest threat to fear. So you're able to remove those things afflictions and obscurations. The traditional word is obscuration, means the cause and the result both you can put into obscuration. Cause of afflictive emotion and the result suffering, both are in one word are obscuration. So those obscurations are removed. And then mental clarity. And going deeper and deeper and deeper, as Dharma is so amazing rich, such as, like the 6 yogas of Naropa, or, for example, the Yantra Yoga, or Deity practice, or Mahamudra practice. It's too amazing at the depth of the Dharma, really. If you can do it, it's all there right now. The lineage is there, the blessing is there, and your mind is there, which is the main basis for you to practice. And you can achieve that. But this is how important that we need to start with learning, really focusing what is present mind. We have so little knowledge about our own home. Our real home is our present mind. We have no idea about our home. It's like you're always out of your home. So, therefore, meditation practice is very important. Yeah. So now let's do some meditation now. Sit in the right posture. Body should be straight. And then relax. It is said, if your body is straight, then your channels are straight. If the channels are straight, then all the wind and energy which passes, they become balanced. And then already, as I said, on the zafu is your body. In your body is your mind, and the mind relax. And then you go to the breathing. You just focus your, breath. Your mind is with the breath. When you breathe out, simply you're. When you breathe in, simply you're there. That's it. You don't need any particular focus. But whatever thought arises, you should not get distracted by that. Don't go after that. You just have to, recognize, and the mind will stay still in itself. The present will naturally come when you recognize, instead of accepting this good thought, I should have this good thought as part of my meditation. This is a bad thought. In meditation, you don't discriminate good and bad thoughts. If you do that, you're going to lose your meditation. You have to treat both good and bad thoughts equally. And there's a very clear example in the practice of meditation. It's said that if a black dog bites you and a white dog bites you, the injury is same. There's no difference at all. So same thing, whether good thought is also conceptual thought, bad thought is also conceptual thought. Both will tie you up. You have to regard both of them as just a mere, labeling projection. Just relate to them as your mind conceptual thought and just, let go of them. Don't cling to them. And don't push it like it should go away or suppress it. That's the wrong approach. That's what we do all the time. And we never succeed in that. When it really get big on a large scale, on a collective, hundreds of thousands of people, when people do that, the revolution comes from that, suppression. And the revolution also are very questionable, what happened in the past revolution. So therefore, whatever thoughts come, watch it, but don't need to go after that. Here there's the observer, the mindfulness, and the awareness. Remember last meditation I talked about awareness? Now here you need the mindfulness is being in the present. That's all. You just simply watch, and that's it. And don't fall asleep. When you're doing meditation, if you fall asleep, you need to straighten yourself. Open your windows, something like that, fresh air. And if you feel too much excitement, too many thoughts coming you can't control, then look slightly downwards. Basically the meditation equipoise is you watch gently on the tip of your nose, like about a meter, and then rest there. And then you simply breathe in, breathe out. That's it. The mind should be alert, body, not like drowsy, sloppy, but straight and alert. and relax. Body, completely relaxing the body, completely relaxing the mind. Okay, so let's do a meditation. Okay, so if you have any questions. Okay. Okay.
So, Rinpoche, what's the best way for a complete beginner, someone who's never thought of meditation or never even tried, even in a yoga class or something like that? What's the best way to start a meditation practice?
Start a meditation. Yeah. Shamatha meditation. Yeah. They can start with the mindfulness of the body before they get to the mindfulness of the mind. Just, feel the sensation of the body without judging. One will experience that. There's no way that you will not experience. But then normally we would just, as I said, the two kinds of mindset which comes into the play, there is rejection and acceptance. That's samsaric mind. That's where it starts from the grasping mind, which is the root cause is ignorance and the afflictions. So therefore, if they can basically, the present mind is so profound that once they get some notion connected with that, it will open the whole door to many, many experiences of meditation, awareness. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It seems there are no other questions. If anybody has questions, now is a good time. Rinpoche, Allison says,
Who?
Allison.
Okay.
G. Such a beautiful, relevant teaching for these times. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's it? Okay. So please meditate every day. Keep your awareness, not only during meditation, but even in post-meditation state. And as I said, how important this present awareness is. The whole answer to your freedom, gateway to freedom, comes from the present mind. And so therefore, this is what we, meditation, and as I said, other thing, mindfulness. Mindfulness means present mind, being aware of the present state. You have to be mindfulness of that. Okay. In the world in general, and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities, merit, and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rises. In the world in general, and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. In the world in general and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. By this merit, may all beings gain omniscience, thus defeat the neurosis
and negative actions, which
are the enemies
from the turbulent waves of
birth, old age, sickness, and death.
From the ocean of cyclic existence, may all beings be liberated.
Yep. So then not only through our practice of meditation, the benefit and the blessing, there's such richness that, for example, if you look at, for example, the meditation on compassion, meditation for immeasurable, meditation on any meditation, because you're working on the level of samadhi, the mind, that present awareness has so much depth. For example, if you practice generosity, it'll be so powerful. It's not going to be like partial generosity, but like completely there. And then the next is 6 paramita, the next is ethics, then the third is the diligence, the fourth is the patience, then the samadhi, concentration, then is the wisdom. So each one of them get more and more profound. Out of the 6 paramita, first is the paramita of generosity. The paramita of ethics is even more profound than the generosity. Then the third is zopa, the patience. Patience is even more profound than the ethics, because there's a saying, zopa tabu gewame shidang tabu dikpame. There's no greater virtue than the patience, and there's no greater unvirtue than the aggression, anger. So therefore, each one is going to get deeper, then the diligence, and then the one-pointed samadhi, then finally the prajna. All comes from the present awareness of, why we need to develop it. All deepens and make it richer, and then able to discover the depth of, where joy, freedom, and enlightenment lies, transcend from afflictions. So therefore, being the present state of mind, meditation practice become extremely important for you to open all the keys to your mind. Okay? Thank you very much. Good night.